Welcome back to the Flicks Forum podcast with Jesse and MJ, where each episode we check out a Netflix original film in the order of release. This is our 16th day of Podmas, where we are putting out an episode every day in the lead up to Christmas. Today, we have Netflix's 64th film ready to go. It's the 2018 French comedy Blockbuster. It's directed by July Hygreck, stars Syrus Shahidi, Charlotte Gabris, and Tom Hygreck.
I like the way you say the director's name.
Julie, because you look at it in English and you're like, it's July.
July, yeah.
But I was like, I've got to put my French
really
cap on.
That sounds really good.
What's the French hat with the little thing on it called?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, I thought you were going
No, I was like, I should know what it's called.
I can't even picture what hat you're talking about.
Like the little red hat with a little stick that sticks out the top that the French Parisians wear, you know? No?
Well, I don't know.
Don't know. I need to look that up.
No, I
badly.
feel bad.
That's all right. All right, so welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you. Yes. So,
Christmas is not far away.
Christmas is not far away. Have you done any Christmas shopping yet?
No.
I've done some of mine.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Well, you got to plan ahead, but
Still got a week.
it's always gets me every year. Every year I'm like, I'll just buy stuff online.
I've knocked off work. Once I knock off work, then I've got 2 days to get it
I was
done.
gonna say, you don't have a lot of time.
2 days, that's when I get it done.
All right. Hopefully you can get my present in that time.
Oh, I get a present. Flicks for a present. That sounds nice. So we start our show with our Fast Flicks, where we give a quick little summary of the film. MJ, what's your summary for this French wee film?
Yeah, so for Blockbuster, my Fast Flicks is a group of artsy 20-somethings get around their mate who is trying to win back his girlfriend amidst the backdrop of his terminally ill father.
Yep, good. So I have said that it's a video diary, a dying father, and a love interest.
Cool.
That's all I've gone with.
That fits.
No context, I'm just gone there.
It's like, it fits the tone. No, I'm all for that.
Yeah. So the French hat is called a beret.
A beret.
I feel like an absolute idiot now.
I know what a beret is,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
the pointy thing on top was getting me.
Sorry.
Like,
Beret,
okay, yeah, gotcha.
I feel really dumb. It's Christmas. It's getting towards the end of the year. Losing my marbles already.
I like your Fast Flicks, mate. That's really good. It's
I didn't want to give any context because I feel like
the film's not necessarily about plot.
No,
it's
not
a
at
part
all.
of it, but
Not at all.
So I think you've nailed that. Well done.
So yesterday we had a chat about we had a little bit of a Christmas bet.
We did.
We did, and I said
Is there a Christmas thing in this as well?
I said I'm going to double up or go home,
Okay.
and I doubled up because there's Christmas reference in this.
Clearly can't remember.
Good. I was hoping that you didn't see it.
What is it?
So we're going to spoil this film.
True. Yeah.
We can,
sorry.
so yeah, if you want to check this film out, go watch it.
Yeah.
So there's video diaries made in this, and there's a video diary that it was their 19th episode, and it was Christmas. It was the day before Christmas. There's carols playing in the background. It was the 23rd of December, and they're talking about one of the characters meeting another character's dad, and he's like, "Yeah, next Christmas." There's my Christmas reference.
You're right. There was.
Bang.
God. Triple honor.
How many have we got to go? 16. What have we got? 9 to go.
8 or 9.
All right, triple. I'll triple it.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
do it. This actually feels this might hurt because I don't know if I can predict this one.
We also haven't put a steak on it yet, so
True. So there's nothing to
that's
lose.
fine. Maybe we could have a steak, a Christmas steak. As
Sure.
The meat.
Yeah, on the barbecue.
Yeah.
I'll cook you a steak on the barbecue for our Christmas Day episode.
All right. Wow.
How's that sound?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Good. Done. All right. What else? What do we need to talk about next? We need to talk about things we know or have found out about this film.
Yeah, we do find it tricky finding a lot of information about the foreign language films.
Totally agree.
I actually did do a few like Google Translates and like translated some full web pages to try and find some stuff on this one.
Dedication to the show.
Yeah, they're just what I'm sorry, but I didn't find much. But the filming took place in Paris from March to July in 2016, which is a year and a half, 2 years prior to it actually releasing on the 24th of Jan 2018. It was the first French film produced on Netflix.
Didn't hit Italy till the 20th of September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange.
We had another one recently with Italy, had a different time as well.
Maybe Italy's just taking their time to get their Netflix originals. I don't know.
Sorry. Keep going.
It's screened in the Kino Panorama section of the independent section of the Rome Film Festival dedicated to youth cinema. Okay. So a lot of little barriers that I went through to get it, but and apart from the fact that it's July Hygreck's feature debut, there really wasn't much more I could find.
So we were talking about Italy. It's got a different title in Italy.
Okay.
It's called Lola and Jeremy.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
In fact,
too.
I'm okay with Blockbuster as well, though.
Yeah.
At least the way they reference it within the film
Yeah.
is quite nice.
And the other thing that I couldn't confirm, but originally apparently they were trying to do a crowdfunding to get this up.
Okay.
And Netflix stepped in before the crowdfunding actually happened. So,
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I thought that was
Oh,
interesting.
that's a cool. I couldn't find that on any of my translate pages.
Yeah.
Well done.
The crowdfunding platform in France is called Kiss Kiss Bank Bank.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a film reference too.
Yeah. So not bad.
I don't get it from a crowdfunding perspective.
Me either. But that's
And the bank stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess Kiss is like your.
it's a very French thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
you're giving something to
yeah.
someone.
So I thought that was cool.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Consensus?
Pretty good. It's a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb off just 307 ratings.
Very low amount of people.
And a 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd off 174 ratings. So they're tiny sample sizes.
Not a lot of people at all.
Not a lot of people have seen or rated this film. Potentially that the French market doesn't really use IMDb or Letterboxd. So
Possibly, yeah, they may have their own platform.
Exactly right, yeah.
This one, when I Google searched, it had like the amount of Google users who like this film, like a percentage.
Yep.
81% of Google users like this film. Okay. So that's pretty high. The other one I had, obviously, Rotten Tomatoes, had to check out. Not one critic had got a review on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think we've had... there's been no critics at all.
No one's touching this one.
So
That's
no
a
one at
shame.
all. But there were 9 audience members that had done it.
Yep.
43%.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which is a little bit low.
So how do you become a critic on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I do know, like, I don't know the full details off my head, but I have read it. You have to have certain amount of reviews published in a, like a press or a, recognized publication.
Okay.
Yep.
So you basically apply. And
Yeah,
You
yep.
send your credentials across.
And it's not just print, they take...
They wouldn't want to just take print.
yeah. True.
You
Well,
get 7 people.
Because I know David and Margaret, they used to be a TV, and they used to have their reviews pop up on
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, they're on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we can't just go on there as critics and be the first ones to do Blockbuster.
I don't know. Maybe if we've got a good bank of episodes now.
The
We could be like,
podcasts,
check
true.
out our fast flicks and see if we can get them on Rotten
True.
Tomatoes.
We'll see what they say.
We could be the first 2 people on Blockbuster on Rotten Tomatoes.
We've also... I slam Rotten Tomatoes most episodes we do, so I don't think I really need it.
But fair. Rotten Tomatoes. All right, early thoughts. What do you think about this film?
Yeah, I got into it.
Yeah.
It was very art house, and it was made by lovers of the art of filmmaking itself. Once you begin to settle into what it's all about, it's actually pretty enjoyable. You're inside Jeremy's head, who's the main character, and writing these really relatable emotions within him. And then you've got the quirky, yet all interesting in their own right characters along for the ride. So it's fun, it's sad, it's a little off-center, but it works.
Yeah, I've put this down as sweet. I was
It
like,
is sweet.
It's a sweet. It's
cute.
a very simple story. The supporting characters for me didn't do much though, but it was still enjoyable.
They were quirky though, yeah. They were fun and no.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was about them, but I got very confused.
Okay.
As an audience member, I got very confused with, especially through the vlogs that they did throughout the story. But yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, sure. Well,
All right, let's talk about the characters.
I was gonna say we can get to it now.
Jeremy, we have to talk about Jeremy.
Yeah, go. What do you want to know? What do you want to talk about, Jeremy?
He's this guy who's caught up in the upcoming loss of his dad, and spoiler, like we've said we're gonna spoil this. Like, his dad obviously does pass away, but to me, his character and the build up to that is his one focus. And that's all he is actually focused on in his life, and he's not actually giving enough to everyone else in his life. And even though he's there with the others in his life, he was using them to be this window into the world for his dad, even though he may have been hurting these other people. And
That's really interesting.
And I don't know if he actually, I don't think he was doing it purposefully, but to me, that's how I interpreted him.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's funny because I almost thought of the opposite watching him, because the story of him we see is he breaks up with his girlfriend in the very first scene, right? So this story...
Well, it wasn't his... Yeah, like, she dumped him.
They break up,
Yep.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So for this story, to me, he was like a lovelorn teenager, which is fine. That's what's half relatable about it. But he was so hell-bent on getting Lola back that he never stopped to smell the roses of the life that was happening around him, which is similar in the sense about the friendship.
Yep.
But I think for this film, it was with his father as well, and like the scenes where he rocks up and he's just moping around with his father and he's not being in a good enough mindset to speak with his father. So I guess your analysis of him is probably the Jeremy that happens before the film starts, because then we obviously see all the flashbacks to the films that he's made and all that work that he's done for his father. And then the Jeremy that I see is, this is what's happened since he broke up with Lola. Kind of, it still works, it's still the same character, but I think we just looked at him in completely different angles.
Yeah.
In context, yeah.
And maybe that's why I wasn't as big a fan of the videos that helped you tell their background or their story.
Sure, yeah.
And that could be why.
Well, I thought he was still sweet and well-intentioned. I don't think he was malicious in any way.
No, I don't think he purposefully... He had different priorities. There were different things going on in his life that he's trying to deal with.
100%. Yeah, he's not a kid, but he's not an adult yet either, right? He's in that in-between stage. And like he knew what he had to do, that he had to do something that Lola would like to get her back. And I think that's kind of cute and relatable that, you know, don't just buy her flowers and take her out for dinner. No, she loves superheroes, right? So let's make these fun superhero things, because what he does, he's artsy and he makes films. So whether he was right or wrong with his decisions about his friends and Lola, I thought it was a fun ride. And for an audience member, like, you see the sincerity of his love.
I didn't feel that, like, yes, he had this idea, but I thought it was more his friends doing everything about it rather than him, because he's still focused
Definitely.
Because he's still stuck in this, you know, about his dad and losing Lola too,
Yeah,
For him, it's about, everything for him is about loss. Yeah,
he is.
Yep.
And I think the whole story is basically like that transition period from being not a kid to an adult, not a teenager to an adult, but you know that like pre-adult stage that you go through, and then one day you wake up and you're like, holy shit, I make a lot of adult decisions now. I think I just became an adult. But he's kind of in that transition phase into that period.
Fair. All right, Lola. I think what do you think about her?
I had a little bit more trouble figuring her out.
Yep.
And this to do, the whole breakup didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time, or even now upon reflection.
And I didn't include that in my fast flicks because I was like, you can't explain their breakup in a couple of words. Like you've got to have all this other context. Like you can't just say in one sentence, they broke up because she felt betrayed because he was making a video for his dad who was dying. But then, it just becomes too complex.
Yeah. And I still don't quite understand why she broke up with him. And I think I don't believe the reason why she broke up with him. I think it just works for the narrative.
It was just because
he asked other girls
the same question.
But this happens in a lot of movies, right? When you find out and he only did something for a bit of fun, but then he actually fell in love in the first place, and it happens all the time.
Rom-com, that happens in a lot of rom-coms.
So she played the role of someone going through a breakup, and she was clearly in the breakup headspace, which is moping around at her friend's house, harmless flirting with a mysterious stranger. Again, and that storyline didn't really work for me.
And
then figuring out who she's going to be and what she's going to do with her life and her career. All those things are fine with someone going through a breakup, but I still didn't really believe that she was going through a breakup.
Yeah, and I had it down. There was one line where she goes, "There's no excuses for what Jeremy put me through or what he put me through," and I was like, he didn't really put you through anything. Like in this massive breakup that you're having, he didn't actually put you through a lot.
So that kind of didn't work for me. But again, her story is a similar coming of age, growing up, and you get the feeling that at the end of this film, with Jeremy and Lola end up together, they're going into that next phase.
Yeah, and I can see them working.
Yeah, and it's almost like we're no longer going to have people just coming in and out of our apartment. We are going to grow up.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. Like that's what you do in life, right?
Exactly. What other characters have you got? Because I wasn't a massive fan of a lot of the side characters.
Sure, yeah. I got Matthias, which was his work colleague who
lives with him.
I don't think he actually lived with him. I think he just had a
stayed on the couch. Just slept on the couch when he felt like it.
Well, he was interesting to me because he went from seeming pretty lazy and pretty useless to being a guy who just constantly got things done, despite who he was. So he kept the work rolling all the time. He was the one who was answering all the calls and getting all the work in. He got the phone number for Michelle Gondry, who was basically, I I don't know, a bit of a savior in the context of everything.
A savior in that they realised what they needed to do rather than he didn't actually save them, I guess.
No, exactly. But he seemed at the time.
Yeah.
It was like, how the hell did you get that? But he did everything for Jeremy despite feeling like a bit of a dropkick.
He's a good friend.
He was a great friend. And I think this was the basic sentiment for all of his mates. Like, they were all in on supporting Jeremy despite him being mopey and eventually like pretty crazy with his demands.
Yeah. So, segue a little bit
Yeah.
into Lola's friend Sarah.
Yeah.
Because she's the complete opposite.
Yeah, in a sense.
I literally thought she was just a plot device for Lola or the boys to communicate to Lola.
Yeah.
And she was always making weird sexual jokes.
She was.
Yeah. She was the one that sort of egged the boys and Jeremy on to think that what they were doing was okay.
To keep going.
Yeah, to keep it going. So to me, she was almost the opposite of those guys.
But yeah, maybe. Do you think in essence that I think they were doing the right thing? I think Jeremy did do the right thing in the end.
Well, he had to do what he needed to do to fight to get her back, I guess, and that was his insight into her, and she gave him donuts pretty much. Like her role in the film was just to be angry at him the whole movie.
Yeah,
no matter what happened.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think Sarah was very developed enough to. She was funny and she was confident, which I guess fits in like a rom-com. This didn't necessarily feel like a rom-com as much as it felt like an art house.
Yeah, it's all like you mentioned. It's
indie.
sort of like this cross between a coming of age romantic.
Yeah. It's all kind of in there, but it's certainly not like a stereotypical anything, which is fun.
Did you have any other characters?
I just had I think it's Mikhail or Mick was the guy who was like super pig at the end.
Yep.
And look, again, he was obviously all in for helping
Yep.
Jeremy, even like from a financial and business perspective, where he kept like losing money to that guy who kept wanting to buy stuff. But I found him pretty good comic relief.
Yeah,
I
that's
found
all
him
it was.
funny.
Comedic relief. That's
But he was a good friend too, and
They were all
same
good
with
friends
same
too,
with
yeah.
Sam, who I think his brother.
Sam's his brother. Yep.
And I like he still showed that emotion, like when their father passed away,
And I felt that Sam wasn't just there for his brother, but also for the dad as well. I got that through, and the dad had this faith in Jeremy and Sam that, they're going to do all right without him.
Yeah.
And, I think the dad made some comment about Jeremy always gets what he wants. And to me, for the dad to say that, I didn't have any thought whatsoever that the film wasn't going to end with this happy ending of them getting back together.
Yep, that's fair enough too.
Yeah. All right. The director?
Yeah,
July.
Julie.
Sorry, Julie.
You did so well.
I did at the start. I've stuffed up. July Hygreck. So, did you see one of his early credits? I don't know if it's sorry, but this is a tricky one, isn't it? Is it a?
I couldn't find
I couldn't
work
out. Couldn't find anything.
But I think it's a female name.
So no, apologies straight up.
Yeah, that's
but
bad of us.
I saw that we tried. We did. I did have a good look. Was an office production assistant on the Queen in 2006.
Saw that too.
I thought that was cool. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
A lot of French TV, but this is the first feature.
First feature, yeah.
Yeah. The cast, like I'm not too sure you could recast this in English. I'm not sure that it would I don't think it would translate well.
Not literally.
No.
It wouldn't translate literally.
No. Because I don't think you'd get an audience in for this story, an English speaking language. Like I don't think you'd be in for this story.
Yeah. There's a quite famous Korean I guess you call it like a rom-com called My Sassy Girl.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic movie. It's sweet, it's funny. And it's very romantic. Koreans do romance really well. And they did it's so popular. They did a remake of it, American remake with Alicia Cuthbert in it, and it is shocking. Yeah, because they've literally tried to almost copy it scene for scene, and it doesn't translate at all. And I love My Sassy Girl, the Korean version, and I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna like the American version because I speak this language, right?
Yeah,
and I hated every second of it.
Okay,
so it's a similar thing to that where, and it's not a cultural thing. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't translate, right?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah,
you'd have to really change things if you can sort of tell this artsy little story about a breakup and about you could use the backdrop of the terminally ill father. You could do this stuff. You'd have to do it very differently.
Yeah, and with the kidnappings, I don't think you could. You couldn't take like a bunch of famous.
Yeah, you couldn't just get Eminem as the rapper who lives in their building.
It just wouldn't work. People would be like, "Oh, this is weird."
Yeah.
So yeah,
very true.
It's very cultural, I think.
Yeah.
All right, should we talk about some scenes? I think we should. What are some scenes that you liked in this?
Pardon me. Quite early on, there was just a line where Jeremy was trying to figure out what he can do to win Lola back, and he was running through all the cliche things, and he came up with the idea of the superheroes and that. And I just liked it when he said she'll love it because it's totally absurd, and just that understanding of who she is. Yeah. And I think that also let the audience know that we're going to go on a little bit of a quirky ride here as well.
What else?
After they sent the first video, they're all waiting around for the phone to ring, and at this point, like, they seemed invested, but you didn't quite know how invested they were, and they were like genuinely nervous, like they were waiting for the phone to ring for a job or something like that. And I really like that. I'm like, okay, these guys are all in on this. I think we're going to really go down this route. So
good.
I love Matthias's helmet phone. All of a sudden, he was just wearing it and on the phone, and they kind of wait like 2 or 3 lines of dialogue before they mention it, which I thought was cool. And he just goes, "Oh, I was sick of holding my phone." I thought that was really cool. I like that whole scene with Michel Gondry talking about the idea for the Spider-Man film, and then him just coming on board with it all. And then he tries to call. He's like,
I'm going to call J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. I thought that whole scene was really well done. I thought it was going to culminate into the big success, and it didn't, which was fine. But I still really enjoyed that whole scene. The scene where Jeremy figures out that he's probably wasted a little bit of time on this Lola thing when his dad's, about to die, or his dad has died.
His priorities probably weren't in the right spot at the right time.
And just the idea of him saying, "I should have filmed him instead of all this shit," and then I'm scared that I'll forget him, and all really normal feelings. And I think that's him going through that rabbit hole of, or almost like being in a cocoon to see that wait until it becomes a butterfly and comes out of it all. So
good analogy.
Really, really good scene, that one. Really emotional, because they hadn't shown that emotion throughout the film, and they did it well.
Yep.
And finally, the last video that Lola makes for Jeremy was really sweet, really touching. Kind of annoys me that it took that for her to sort of come back, like his dad dying. But I guess that was the big unknown, right? He never shared that. He didn't want to share his pain with her. And that was really sweet.
Gives her a bit of context, but why?
Yeah, exactly. It's very true. And I don't think I shed a little
even though he did try to explain to her straight away, my dad's dying.
He did as soon as they broke up, didn't he? Yeah. That was really nice, that final scene.
Yeah.
Perfect combination.
Good. I think, I've got a few similar things. Like that, the rapper, Yuso Sofa. I just thought that was cool when they like take him in. He like turns the tables on them when they're like trying to do that hostage video. He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna make this look really real." He just pulls the gun. He's like, "Nah, I'm
slaps
doing
it." Him and the guy's like, "I'm gonna go to work in the morning." I just want to shoot this.
The Michel Gondry as well. I couldn't believe that, like, because they'd made mention of him the whole way throughout, and then when he's actually on the screen, I'm like, I know him as a director, obviously, and I'm like, they actually got him in this film.
Cool.
I was like, that was cool. And the last one you mentioned,
good on him, by the way. What a good sport.
Yeah, and the last sort of one that you've mentioned a little bit, I thought that response video that Lola did at the end, I liked how she, went to the cemetery and went to the grave and sort of, she's like, gave the videos back and said, "These are actually yours."
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
Part of the whole journey.
I thought that was nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was the ending it deserved, I think.
Yeah. Okay, what about some things that you weren't a massive fan of?
I only disliked one scene in this film, and apart from the whole, I spoke about the whole Lola breakup thing, and it didn't work for me, but in terms of literal scenes, when Lola calls Jeremy and Matthias answers the phone and puts it on speakerphone, but he's asleep.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was so silly, because again, that was just an excuse for her to be like, "Oh yeah, I called him, he didn't answer, he's being a jerk."
Yeah.
It's like, who answers the phone, puts it on speaker, and like when he knows this whole Lola thing is like the biggest thing that's happening in this household right now, and just slept through it.
Staying there at night. There you go. So he's...
Yeah, well, true. But that was silly. They could have done that better. They still had to use that scene where she had another reason to be annoyed at him, but
yeah, I agree.
Didn't work at all.
I don't have much either. I didn't like any of the laundromat scenes with Lola and the Valentine dude.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, I get that you want this side guy that she's interested in, but I didn't like how pompous they made him. Like, they made him out like he's the best guy in the world that is doing the best things ever.
True.
And I guess they maybe needed that to, like, make her realize, hey, this isn't the sort of person that I want. But at the same time, you need some believability to her actually maybe developing feelings for someone else.
It's
like,
a good point.
As another barrier for Jeremy. Because, some things that, like, he's, I've been to Paraguay and I work with, like, the last surviving people of this tribe, and and my life, so I'm going to go work for this NGO, and I'm going for 6 months into the Afghani hills, and I'm learning like. I was just like, it's a bit too much for like some guy just going to meet in a laundromat.
And for what it's worth, you said that she needed to figure out that's not what she wanted. I don't think she ever really figured that out. I think she kind of liked him. They had that kiss, and then the homeless guy walked in on them, and that was her way of being like, it's a sign. So she never actually figured it out herself.
Yeah. So, I was a little bit off-put by those scenes.
I agree.
The other thing I've mentioned as well, the episodes of this show that as the dad sat on the bed and watched them, they were well put together. And like, I know as an audience, you needed to understand how much these guys loved each other before they broke up. Yep. And I get that, but I just wasn't a fan. I just thought that it didn't help much with the development of, because I wanted the there and now. I wanted to see what was going on now, how he's working to get her back, rather than let's focus on, like, I get you need that context, but I didn't need so much of that context.
See, I think I got more of that context of the friendship group. And that's what I liked about the friendship group. These guys are tight as. It's like the bloody cast of Friends. Like,
and I just didn't like those characters around them. I would have much preferred less of them, more of the two of them together. Yeah, sure. Because they were the focus. Like, in Italy, it's called Lola and Jeremy. Like,
yeah, they were the focus. Yeah. But I think this film's about more than that.
Yeah, fair. Last thing I had was Sarah. A lot of her dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Just, it was cringeworthy. Like, the one line that stood out to me was, "Losing your cell phone is worse than losing your virginity." I was like, wow.
Losing virginity didn't seem like a big deal to her either. Okay.
Nah, she's whoever jumps out of a box, whether it's the Hulk or the Super Pig.
Super Pig. Super Pig thought he was in then.
He sure did. Okay, well, what's this film trying to say? What are some things that you picked up on?
Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about. I think the film itself is really about friendship and showcasing those like golden years of your life. If anything, it seems like that transition period for Jeremy and probably Lola. But for Jeremy, because he loses his father, he gets back with Lola. And as I said, this sort of seems like the next step into like his real adult part of his life. But I think it kind of glamorizes that, and that's probably through those videos, those golden years of them just hanging out and shooting the shit and
just enjoying life.
Enjoying life, because we've all been there, right? And that's what I found so relatable about this film. It's like, I remember those years.
Did you say shooting the shit again?
Yeah. I'm like, Jesse didn't pick up on it.
I was waiting for you to stop, and I was like, okay.
I did. But that's kind of what this film was about. And you know what? There's not many films that are about that. And I like that. I think it's fun, and I think it's bold, and I think it worked. Cool. So that's what, if you want to remake this film in England, in English, whether it's America, whether it's Australia,
make it more about the friendships.
Keep that theme, right, and then build the movie out of that.
Awesome. I couldn't go past this idea of love.
Yeah.
Like, being inspired and living the life, and obviously, like, you've got that through the friendships too. And they tried to do this through the homeless guy. Like, you just throw out these random sort of quotes, and he's like, happiness in love is not to be blind, but to know when to close your eyes. And, life's not worth living without love. And I just liked that you had that. I wasn't a massive... there's these scenes where he walks with these clouds above his head. We got he was down. But, yeah, I liked a few of those words. Just to chuck him in every now and then to be like...
Yeah, he was an interesting character.
Yeah, he was. This idea about superheroes too. Like, everyone needs some kind of superhero in their life. Someone to look out for themselves, And I really liked that this idea, when they do this plan where, like, we're gonna kidnap these people. It's like, superheroes don't kidnap, they save. So at the end of the day, each of these people that they kidnap sort of save them a little bit. So it's sort of reversed.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah.
So each of these people that they literally saved them a little bit, or gave them motivation to do something else. So I liked that as well.
Great pickup.
The truth was pretty important as well.
Well, in the end,
massively important. Just being upfront and honest. And if that had this film wouldn't have existed.
I don't think it necessarily wasn't like truthful. That's what annoyed me about this breakup in the first place. Like, he wasn't really trying to hide anything.
But they're up to like day whatever it is in their video. Surely the first or second day we ran, look, just so you know, my pickup line with you was that.
By the way, I did it to a bunch of people.
I did it to a bunch of people. Yeah, like that could have prevented this breakup.
Sure, but I would have almost assumed that as well. A bloke rolls in with the camera asking you a ridiculous question, like you're
tried this on someone else. Yeah. And at the end they make this big line. This line too. I want nothing but the truth from now on. And you can gather that's what they're going to go. Yeah. A little bit too about growing up, like you've mentioned this throughout the whole thing. Change. This step from not necessarily being a kid, but this moving on from comics. They try to make this like sort of feel like maybe this is the end of their comic books in their life, or in her life anyway. And finally, like, dealing with loss
Into
as
her
well.
Blockbuster.
Into a Blockbuster, yeah. Dealing with loss is the last one I had too, because I feel like they did a really good job.
They did a really good job of it.
You know, the boys didn't want to forget their dad, but, you know, they wanted to remember, but they realised that, you know, sometimes you do forget.
Yeah, I think they handled that whole situation really well as sons, right? I think they did the right thing of leading up to his death. I love that scene where they came in, the dad was holding the picture of the mum. I thought that was really sweet.
Nice. Yeah.
Because he seemed like this kind of grumpy old...
He sure did.
Wise enough and like, what are you moping around about, you idiot? Like,
Yeah. All right, well, what did we take from this film? What have you got?
I think you kind of basically summed up what I took away from it. It was this cutesy, artsy story about love, friendship, family, and superheroes. But I think it was all really relatable. Not the specifics of the film necessarily, but the moments of the film. Like, I think everyone's been there, done that, experienced that in some level. I think that's why it works. You know, there's a certain type of friend that I'd be happy to recommend this film to because it resonates.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally had cute.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't have watched this if we weren't doing this podcast, though. I probably wouldn't have found this.
Well,
Wouldn't have even known it existed, to be honest.
That's the thing. No one's bloody reviewed it on Rotten Tomatoes. No. It's got 300 ratings on IMDb. For context, we did Bright a
couple of days ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, like a week ago now. We did Bright, which was 160,000 ratings on IMDb. I'm sure if you watch like any Marvel movie is a bad example, but maybe like almost in millions. Like 300 people have reviewed this on IMDb.
It's not a lot of people.
But this would be a hard film to recommend, right, to your mainstream audience. But there's a certain group of people that would really like this film.
Yeah. Did you go on IMDb at all to look anyone up?
I apologise, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
I didn't go on IMDb, but I did Google because I knew Michelle Gondry, but I wanted to look up the other two just to confirm that they were actual French people.
I figured they were.
Yeah, they were. So the Manu Katch sort of guy is a famous French drummer, songwriter, jazz player at the start.
Is that what he was?
Yeah, and then the rapper. And then the rapper
was a rapper.
Yus Sofa. He's an actual rapper. Like plenty of stuff on YouTube. So we don't get much.
The first guy was a drummer, was he?
Yeah, he's a drummer and like plays jazz music, writes songs too. But the first word that comes up is drummer when you're looking up.
Right. Okay.
So I thought that was interesting.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah. All right. Got any questions you want to ask?
I do.
Good.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Oh God, we're gonna have the same. We're gonna have the same questions. I'm gonna go chocolate.
This is ice cream, yeah.
It was ice cream. It was definitely ice cream.
Oh,
it's not that hard a choice. What are you? The
it is
Napolitana guy who likes
Neapolitan.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
A bit of strawberry too.
I'm gonna go vanilla.
Okay, good. What else?
Do you think that Jeremy made the right decisions with the videos that he made for his dad? Obviously, he had that regret at the end, being like, "Oh, why did I waste my time with these videos?" So, do you think that was the right decision?
I like it because he can go in knowing that he's made this connection with his dad and this girl Lola, who I think they're going to stay together. Even though he never got to meet her, he knows a lot about her going to his deathbed. And to me, I think it's I can't see him regretting it because he knows, like, his dad knows a lot about this person that hopefully he's going to spend the rest of his life with.
Couldn't agree more. And not only that, his friends, his life, his dad's there now, right? Where he was in a hospital bed. So couldn't agree more.
Cool. Anything else?
What do you got for me?
Do you prefer theatre or movies?
Movies.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Italian or Japanese food?
They've both got their merit.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me.
If I had to eat one every day, it would be Italian.
Yeah,
but
just carb loading.
I could there's so many pastas and pizzas, but I do like Japanese food as well.
Yeah,
that's really hard.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And last one, Friday or Saturday? I'm going Saturday. Don't have to go to work.
Yeah, I play a lot of sport on Saturdays, which is great.
Yeah,
they're both good days though.
They are.
Yeah, they are good days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
All right. Well, I think we're ready to tie this up.
Yeah, I think so.
We each give a rating out of 5 to put together our overall score for the film on Flix Forum. What have you got, MJ?
Yeah, I enjoyed this for what it was. A story about love and friendship and life in your 20s. When the small things seem big and the big things seem small, and perspective will always come knocking to open the door of the next stage of adulthood. It was fun and engaging. 3 stars.
Very nice. So along the same, like I thought this was a really non-offensive film. Like there was nothing in it that was offensive at all. There wasn't realistically much plot at all, and
That's okay.
the characters surrounding these two lovebirds, to me, they were just there as this vehicle for them. And I wasn't a massive fan of the video diaries, as I said, but it was a really sweet story. So I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5.
Yep, nice.
Which, as an average, gives us a 2.75.
2.75,
which is pretty good.
Yep, pretty good.
We're on social media. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You already know that if you found us.
Thanks for finding us.
Thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying our daily episodes throughout December. It's killing us, but we're getting there.
It's good. We're forcing ourselves to watch movies.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Can't complain. So, question on our social media for today. Which film do you like the most? Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind or Be Kind, Rewind? And these are both obviously themed to Michel Gondry because he directed both of these.
Can I answer it?
Answer it.
Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. And you know what? Be Kind, Rewind, I saw at the movies when it came out. I haven't seen it since. And I remember enjoying it. But Eternal Sunshine is a great movie.
Eternal Sunshine's fantastic. And I've taught that film and I've got a good connection with it. So I'm going with that as well.
I love dramatic Jim Carrey.
Oh, so good.
He's so good.
So good. So, tomorrow, back again.
Back again.
I know everyone's really looking forward to hearing what we're doing tomorrow.
What am I watching tonight, Jesse?
We're looking at a biographical comedy drama from 2018. It's called A Futile and Stupid Gesture. Cool. It's directed by David Wayne and it stars an ensemble cast including Will Forte. Is it Forte? Forte. Will Forte and Domhnall Gleeson. So,
cool.
Let's get on that tomorrow.
Heater, I wonder if Heater would like that. He likes a long title. Not quite a long title, but longer than normal. Yeah.
It's long enough. So as usual, thanks for hanging out. Lots of nights in a row now.
It's been good. No, I'm feeling very festive.
And I'm not sick of your company yet.
No, we'll get there. Trust me, we'll get there.
Good. We'll see you and I'll see everyone else tomorrow.
See ya.